Hello, welcome back to Module 1. So, we are continuing with Lesson 4 Building Your Teaching Philosophy. So, these are going to be the main steps that you should consider while you're building your teaching philosophy. We're going to dive deep into defining your approach to teaching and learning, how to set your teaching goals and objectives, and then how to align your philosophy with student centered learning, which is oh so important in private lessons. Step 1, figure out your unique approach to teaching and learning in a private lesson context. Defining your teaching philosophy begins with reflecting on your personal beliefs and values about education. Consider what you believe about how students learn best, the role of the teacher, and the purpose of education. Are you more inclined towards traditional methods, or do you prefer progressive, innovative approaches? Your teaching philosophy should reflect your core values and how they influence your approach to teaching. Now let's talk about some teaching methods. So determine the teaching methods you find most effective for you as you become a private lesson teacher. This could include a mix of direct instruction, so basically talking at your student, inquiry-based learning, collaborative projects between students in your studio, or experiential learning. Your approach should consider how these methods support student engagement, understanding, and retention of material. It's important to articulate why you choose these methods and how they align with your beliefs about learning. Next, we need to define the role of the teacher for you. So, are you a facilitator, a guide, a mentor, or maybe an authority figure? How do you see yourself as the teacher? Understanding your role helps shape your interactions with students and your overall classroom management style, or studio management style in this case. Consider how you'll balance authority with approachability and how you'll support students' autonomy and independence in learning. Step 2, set up your teaching goals and objectives to provide a guideline for your lessons. How will your students learn from you? Establish clear, achievable teaching goals. Short term goals might include specific skills or concepts you want your students to master within a lesson. Long-term goals could involve broader outcomes such as developing critical thinking, fostering a love for the subject or composer or style of music, or preparing your students for future academic or career success. Maybe they want to become a professional musician, just like you. Clear goals help guide your planning and your instructional strategies. So next, let's talk about measurable objectives. Objectives should be specific and measurable, providing a clear target for both you and your students. Use the SMART criteria. You might have heard about this before. It's SMART. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So SMART criteria to create objectives that are clear and attainable. For example, a SMART goal could be by the end of the semester, my students will be able to perform a specific piece of music with technical accuracy and emotional expression. All right, let's talk about continuous improvement. So, teaching goals and objectives should also focus on your own professional growth. Identify some areas where you want to improve your skills or expand your knowledge. Set goals for attending workshops, pursuing further education, or incorporating new technologies into your teaching. And we'll talk all about that stuff later in this course, too. This commitment to continuous improvement reflects your dedication to providing the best possible education for your students. Step 3, you're going to align your philosophy with student centered learning, taking the focus away from you as the teacher and putting it on the student. Student centered learning focuses on the needs, interests, and abilities of students rather than the teacher's agenda. It involves creating a learning environment where students take an active role in their education, engaging in activities that promote critical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration. Your teaching philosophy should reflect a commitment to prioritizing students' experiences and their perspectives. So, the next thing we need to talk about is creating an inclusive learning environment in your music studio. Align your philosophy with practices that ensure all students feel valued and supported. This includes differentiating instruction, or again, that means changing up the way you approach your instruction to meet diverse learning needs, fostering a positive and respectful classroom or lesson studio culture, and promoting equity and inclusion. Consider how you will accommodate different learning styles, cultural backgrounds, and individual challenges. Student centered learning emphasizes the importance of giving students control over their learning process. Define how you'll encourage student autonomy through choice, voice, and responsibility. This could involve offering students options in their lesson assignments, encouraging them to set their own learning goals, and involving them in the decision making process within their private lessons. Commit to regularly reflecting on your teaching practices and their impact on students. Use student feedback, self-assessment, and peer observations to evaluate your effectiveness, and make adjustments as needed. Reflective practice ensures that your teaching philosophy evolves in response to the needs and experiences of your students. Do not be afraid to ask for advice or to see what other private lesson teachers of all ages and experience levels do in their lessons. And that is a big one. Nobody is better than anybody in the private lesson world. Everybody has something valuable to offer. So whether it's an older person who you might think, oh, they've just been teaching private lessons, they don't know anything about music, or maybe you're an older person and you see somebody in the practice room hallway who's 19, still in college, and you think they don't know what they're talking about. That's just simply not true. So take advice, take the tricks and tips and tools from everybody in the practice room hallway, because everybody has something valuable to bring to the private lesson world. Good job, we're all done. So now you're going to head to lesson 5 to continue in this module. See you there.